Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this session. I hope everyone is hearing me well. Thank you for being here today and to this breakout session, part of the Teacher Task Force Policy Dialogue Forum. I would like to start by thanking the organizers of the event, the Teacher Task Force and UNESCO, for giving us the opportunity, as well as all the attendees, the speakers that are with me today, and all the participants. Before starting, I want to share with you some technical guideline. Please mute your microphone if you are not speaking. Interpretations in English and French are available, so please choose your channel using the globe icon at the bottom of your screen. And please use the chat function to add additional comments or to ask for the floor. Please also use the raise hand function or raise your hand physically if you are in the room to request to take the floor. Speak slowly to allow the interpreters to translate your intervention. Well, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Leticia de Rato, and I'm the head of global partnerships at ProFuturo Foundation. I will be the presenter and moderator in today's session. And with me today, I would like to introduce to you to Ms. Marian Alvarez. She's the country manager for Zimbabwe at ProFuturo Foundation. Then it's Ms. Maria Tokwani. She's the education specialist at World Vision Zimbabwe. And I hope Jacob Mungwiro can join us because he's representing here the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education of Zimbabwe. I don't know if Jacob, I don't know if he, well. The scope for this session, it's the importance of public-private partnerships in the development of public digital education policies. For this, we will showcase the work that ProFuturo Foundation is doing in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and World Vision Zimbabwe. The different perspectives and best practices that we are going to share with you today are an example of how public-private partnerships can lead to national level digital education policies. First of all, let me introduce to you very briefly about the work that ProFuturo is doing. ProFuturo is a digital education program launched by Telefónica Foundation and La Caixa Foundation. They are two Spanish institutions, and it was launched in 2016. Our mission is to bridge the education gap through quality digital education in vulnerable environments. To do so, ProFuturo believes in the key role of the teachers. They are the key of the teaching and learning process and how technology can help them introduce innovative methodologies in their classroom planning. We believe that digital education gives the opportunity to girls and boys meet the 21st century challenges. But technology is not enough on its own. We need more than that. We need the support to support the teachers and give them the opportunity to develop digital competencies. And for this, the collaboration with the ministries of education are very relevant. And they are because they have the key elements and the infrastructure. Right now, ProFuturo is working in 40 countries, in many different regions and contexts, and collaborates with a wide range of different partners and organizations. We have ministries of education, universities, NGOs, UN organizations, the African Union. And here today, we are with one of our more important partners, World Vision, that we work with them in 6 African countries. And hopefully, Jacob, you are representing the Ministry of Education of Zimbabwe. And now I want to start the discussion. So I want to introduce my colleague, Marian Alvarez. And please, Marian, can you tell us more about the work of ProFuturo in Zimbabwe? and in collaboration with World Vision.
Well, thank you, Leticia, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to be here today with you. So yes, maybe you're gonna start by giving you some background on how this operation started. We started the operation in Zimbabwe back in August 2018 in partnership with World Vision Zimbabwe and World Vision Spain. We started with a small pilot of 20 schools in Lupane, which is west of Zimbabwe. We choose Lupane, first of all, because that was a proposal coming from World Vision Zimbabwe, but also because it fit really well with the needs of ProFuturo, right? With the profile of ProFuturo, with the schools situated in very, very remote areas, right? Like I've been there, and I can say these schools are deep in the bush, like they like to say in Zimbabwe, and with some serious infrastructural challenges in the educational sector, right? Now, after we launched the project and motivated with the good results we were having with this small pilot, we scale up the project with 100 more schools in both Lupane and then in Wanda, which is south of Lupane, and then in 2020 with another 100 schools. So we are looking about a total of 222 schools, and we are covering the whole areas of Lupane and Wanda. Now, oh, there's Jacob there. Okay, good. Hi, Jacob. It's good to have you here today. Now, I was telling that, so up to now, we have 22 schools distributed between the districts of Lupane and Wanda. Now, in all these schools, we are offering what we call ProFuturo's comprehensive digital model, offering 5 key elements, right? The first one is the equipment, which is, key, especially for countries like Zimbabwe, where there is some lack on equipment. And that is the tablets for the kids and the servers for the teachers, and also, other technological equipment like the routers, right? So to give you some numbers, we have donated about 12,000 tablets and 300 servers in the country so far. Now, the second element is the teacher training. As you mentioned before, this is key as well for the program. We provide some both technical training and coming from very simple things like how to use the cables and how to use the mouse, to more technical things like how to create a class in our platform, but also pedagogical, right? Pedagogical training on how to enhance the development of 21st century competences in the classroom. Now, the third element is the support as well, very important. And we cater this through World Vision Zimbabwe. We have a team of coaches that visit the schools on a weekly basis. They make sure that all the teachers, they try to solve all the challenges that teachers are having related to the program. Now, the fourth one is the LMS, the Learning Management System, our platform, that it has some innovative content for students in primary and lower secondary schools. Now, one of the beauties of this, of our platform, and one of the reasons why the Minister of Education of Zimbabwe likes our platform is because it's very flexible and it allows teachers, educators, and maybe the Minister of Education to upload their own content. So it really fits, gives the possibility to fit with the curriculum needs of the country. Now, the fifth and last element is the monitoring and evaluation system that we have. We are able to see the progress through our data analytics. So those are the 5 key elements that we implemented already in all these 222 schools in Zimbabwe, right? Now, the the journey of implementation was not easy, of course. I mean, I don't think it's ever easy, right? When you start a program like this. And we face some difficulties, like in Zimbabwe at the beginning, like power-related challenges, the technophobia by both learners and teachers. But that's pretty common. That happens always. Some lack of motivation among the teachers. And of course, we have the COVID pandemic, which was and it's been a big challenge, but that's for another panel, that's for another discussion, right? So the challenges are many. The challenges are not 1, 2, 3. The challenges are many, but we write them out. And we were, over these 4 years, we were able also to achieve many things, right? We have had about 72,000 students, active students in our platform. We have trained 222 focus teachers, and using our cascade style, we were able to reach with this training to about 10 teachers per school, so making a total of 2,000 teachers trained in Zimbabwe. We partnered with communities, really important as well. They were able, they managed to raise funds to put solar panels in all the schools in Lupane and Wanda districts. And of course, and the reason why we are here today, we partnered with the MOPSE to, given the good results of the different operations, to upscale the project countrywide. So these are this has been our major challenges and our major achievements. And of course, more achievements will come and more challenges for sure. But overall, I think the operation is working really well. And one of the reasons why I think this operation is working really well is because of the support we are having from World Vision Zimbabwe for sure, the MOPSE and the community, right? And this is a remarkable thing about Zimbabwe, right? And this is something World Vision knows how to do really well, right? How to involve the community. It's outstanding thing because and I travel the country and I have talked to the families, and it's amazing how committed they are to the future of the children and how well they understand why education is important, right? I mean, we are talking about rural families, right? And they managed to raise funds to put solar panels in all the schools. That is amazing. I mean, you don't see that kind of commitment everywhere. So I think we are really grateful for this, as well as for the support we are having from the Ministry of Education, the MOPSE. They have been involved in the operation from the beginning. They have attended our trainings. They monitor the operation at the school level, making sure all teachers know how to use the platform. They designed the project together with World Vision. They launched, the Minister of Education, Paul Mabima, launched the project back in 2018. So we have been journeying together from the beginning. This is a natural ally for us. Now, besides the support that we are having from the key stakeholders, another key component of why I think this operation, I think it's been a success, is because of the pertinence of the project, right? Because it came at a time when the ICT policy was being emphasized in the country, as well as the need to support the continuous support of the teachers for the integration of the ICT in their daily teaching and learning. So both reasons, I can identify those two reasons. First, the support we are having from the key stakeholders, the community, MOPSE, and World Vision, the pertinence of the project because it came at the right time, and of course, because we are offering something that is really good, right? Now, in this contest, and at the beginning of 2021, amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, we received a proposal from the MOPSE and from World Vision to scale up the intervention in another 5,000 schools, right? And, you know, that was a big thing for us. I think it's a huge opportunity for ProFuturo. We are eager to collaborate with them. We are already collaborating with them. As Leticia was mentioning before, this kind of collaboration is vital for us, not only for the legitimacy of the intervention, especially in front of the educational community, but also to increase our possibilities in terms of reach and applicability. And finally, because of the potential they have to lead other conversations with key stakeholders in terms of sustainability. So, I mean, this is, in a nutshell, how we evolve from a pilot of 20 schools in Lupane to a project countrywide with the MOPSE in about 5,000 schools. And now I'm sure Maria, and I don't know if Jacob is finally with us today, but I'm sure they will have a lot of more comments to share with us today. Thank you, Leticia.
Thank you, Marianne. Yes, you have said some different things that I think they are very relevant, and we can share in the wrap-up and conclusion slot. But just I want to say hello to Jacob and to be here today. But then I want to let Maria tell us about World Vision Zimbabwe, the work that she's doing with the Ministry of Education, with Jacob, and how what are the challenges, the pandemic, and her perspective, and how to implement this type of projects in Zimbabwe. Please, Maria.
Thank you so much, Leticia. Good afternoon, good morning. I know we are in different places of the world. I'd like to share in terms of how we've actually worked with ProFuturo, as well as Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, as World Vision Zimbabwe. So World Vision Zimbabwe, basically, we are found in almost all the provinces of the country. The country has got 10 provinces, and we are found in 9 of them, except Harare, which is like the capital city. The reasons why World Vision is not found in Harare, it is because we actually focus in the most vulnerable places, or either districts of the country. So we are like in the peripheries. So this is where we are actually implementing ProFuturo project, where Marian also spoke in terms of starting with 20 schools. So to them as ProFuturo, they came to World Vision Spain, World Vision Zimbabwe as like a pilot to say, let us start with 20 schools and see what happens. So for World Vision, actually, it was like an opportunity. We had actually just redesigned our education program, where we were saying, let us also innovate rather than maybe construction of classroom blocks, doing that every day. Why can't we also maybe also tune in and also support the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education in their new competence-based curriculum that they've just muted, and we wanted to support them, especially in ICT. So we took the initiative by the horn. So for me, as an education specialist for the whole country, for World Vision Zimbabwe, I then started engaging the ministry at head office level, rather than maybe just leaving it as a micro project. I wanted the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education at higher level to realize that we have got this opportunity. Why an opportunity? Because the ProFuturo project, it has got actually an advantage, actually the platform. It is an offline platform, and Zimbabwe being known for a lack of power, lack of network in most of the schools, especially where we work, we really need such a platform where we can actually access information easily. Then we also have lack of teaching and learning materials, especially when you look with the new curriculum, it needed a lot of materials, new books, new textbooks. So with ProFuturo, which allows you to create materials and then post it on the platform, it became an opportunity for Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education actually to also create materials that actually relate to the new curriculum and post it on the platform. So to do that, after engaging the ministry was very responsive. I remember I went with Marian to the ministry. Ministry, instead of just having them as a ministry alone, they actually invited other ministries, like Ministry of ICT and Information. They invited other service providers like Zanet, Tel One, other network providers within the country. They were actually part of the meeting. So from that meeting, I remember we were given a team of 7 people that were actually coming from the ICT department and other departments within ministry, including actually one director who was actually leading, so that they can actually participate as the teachers were being capacity built, as school heads were being capacity built in the ProFuturo platform. Also, the head office was also being capacity built. It was also an opportunity for them to say, how then do we integrate ProFuturo in our work, in our policy that we have as a ministry, which is the ITC policy, which was actually muted in 2015. So it was like, it had just come at the right time where they were saying, how then do we fit ProFuturo in our work that we are already doing? So from there, I mean, that engagement meant a lot. It then meant that ministry then became involved in all the ProFuturo work, which then led to a report which was written by the 7 members, which went up to the minister's level, where then the minister was then pleased to come and launch the project. After launching the project, we also gave reports to ProFuturo on a monthly basis, or either on that ad hoc time where we felt this was like worth sharing. And then our minister, which was Professor Mavima at that time, he was then invited to also come and present at a meeting in Spain, Madrid, in terms of how do they see this collaboration and also speaking about ICT. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to attend, but that gesture alone meant that there was this close collaboration between World Vision and ProFuturo and Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education. So for us, it's a plus. We say the 20 schools that actually multiplied themselves to 220 primary schools in 2 districts. To me, it means being able to work as a collaborated force in partnership, which means World Vision then became a partner of choice for ProFuturo, which also translate that to say World Vision Zimbabwe is also a partner of choice to the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education. Without that strong partnership, we were not even able to actually have the 222 schools that we have today. So just like what Marion said, in 2019, just after introducing the project in September 2018, 2019, ProFuturo then became what they call a major project within the country, which was then presented to cabinet. To us, it was a plus. I remember the permanent secretary phoning me to say, Maria, can you tell me more about ProFuturo? And the permanent secretary then by then was a new one. So she really wanted to understand how the project functions and how it is. Then I wrote a 1-pager talking about ProFuturo, what it is capable of doing, even the challenges that we face, that we also wanted support from the ministry and other service providers. So it was then presented to cabinet. So it became a project, one of the major projects for the ministry that year. And for us, it was a plus. And then we said, once that became a major project, I remember we also had a surprise visit from the CEO for ProFuturo. She really also wanted to come and engage more and say, because she had also heard how our ministry was supportive, our ministry also came to the trainings, how it was also monitoring the work that ProFuturo with World Vision, World Vision Zimbabwe we're doing in Zimbabwe. So she also came, I remember it was Sophia, she came. So we also went around with showing other partners. I remember from her visit, we were then able to forge quite a number of other partnerships that we are even pursuing even up to today. We have another foundation in Zimbabwe, which is also supported by an Econet, which is a network provider in Zimbabwe, also by, so it actually supports it. So it's called Higher Life Foundation. So they are also into ICT. So it was like we then started talking, and also we, Higher Life also linked with ProFuturo in terms of how can they then best, collaborate and support this just cause of providing ICT in schools. So Higher Life, they have a platform which is called Visivo, but it is an online platform, and they've been struggling in terms of how do they make it offline. So I remember they've been working, so the technical team for ProFuturo and Higher Life, they started working in terms of how can they actually collaborate. So for us, it's a plus because we knew we'd also scored. We now have a partner who knows if ever they want to partner with World Vision, this is a partner of choice. This is a partner which is also into ICT, which was actually facilitated by ProFuturo. So they then said they were going to put what they call mirrors in the schools where ProFuturo is, so that their content can also be part of the content as kids access ProFuturo information. They can also be accessing Zivo platform, which is actually a platform which with materials approved, evaluated by the ministry. So we even went on as together with ministry, because now it wasn't like a one-man band. Ministry was also there. We also approached UNESCO to just tell them about the good news, to say this is who we are and this is what the project that we are implementing can also come and be part and parcel of what we are doing. I remember even during COVID time, I was also asked as World Vision Zimbabwe to also present on alternative learning programs. But of course, talking about ProFuturo, how we have used the platform even during COVID, even during the emergencies, it actually came handy, because without such a platform, we're not going to be able to reach to kids while they were at home. So we then, I was also called to come and present at their Africa region platform, which they took on board. But that partnership, we are still pursuing it. Our idea or our thoughts are like they would also come with more resources to also come and complement what ProFuturo has already also started as we continue to work with ProFuturo. Then during COVID, we also had another major breakthrough where ProFuturo actually approved World Vision Zimbabwe and said we've got this platform where teachers can be trained and they get their certificates within 100 days. And I took that platform to the ministry and we discussed. They said, yes, Maria, the platform is wonderful. Jacob was actually one of the persons, because Jacob is actually the ProFuturo coordinator in Zimbabwe. So they looked at the platform. It was a beautiful platform, but they were hesitant somehow. They said, our teachers, we don't have control over them. They are at home because there's a lockdown. There is no internet. We don't even know the type of phones that they have. They might be unable to access the platform and complete the 100 days. What we want is the offline platform. So the offline platform for us is a platform that can avail resources easily to learners. So we were then asked to write a proposal, which we wrote together with ministry and submit it to ProFuturo. And as we speak, they wanted to install the platform in 1,300 cluster schools. So when we talk of cluster schools, our schools in Zimbabwe, we've got 9,000 plus schools. So there are clusters in a way that we have got one school which is well resourced in an area. It actually supports other schools around it, maybe 4 or 5 schools around it. So we have got 1,300 cluster schools in the country. So the idea was, if we then install a ProFuturo platform in the 1,300 schools, we have covered the whole country, because the other schools are also going to replicate after learning from the cluster school, which we have actually started as from last year, which is 2020, and we are still implementing that. Installations have finished. We even went in access, I think, to 1,340 schools, but we are still installing both other schools. They are hearing about the beauty of the platform, and they've purchased their laptops, which are going to be the savers, and they want to actually have ProFuturo being installed in those laptops. So we see this project as a great potential for us in so many ways. So we saw a lot of advantages in the ProFuturo project, and also in our collaboration with ministry. It is actually a provision of so much needed resources that were not there either for the learner. So now they can simply click a button and they get everything that they want. They want to study history, they get it. Geography, they want to study, maths, they get it. Science, they get it easily. They want to talk about life skills, it's actually there in the ProFuturo platform. If teachers want to become innovative and create more materials, they can do so easily. It doesn't get bloated, it doesn't get full. So for us, it's a resource that is needed for the country. And we are looking at 21st century skills. We are not only using ProFuturo as a resource, but also as a technique that you have in your bag for pedagogy. So it's a teaching tool that you also have. So we are trying also with together with ProFuturo to say, how then do we use ICT as a tool for pedagogy in classrooms, as we also continue to train teachers to use the platform, but how do they then use that platform? How do they then use ICT as pedagogy in their classes? Then it also, for us, it was also a rural-urban divide, reducer, because every child in the urban areas, obviously, they've got cell phones, they have televisions, they've got access to computers all over. They've got parents that have got money. If you don't have money, but they have those things. But in the rural areas, it's rare. Of course, I know phones, they are there, but not the Android phones where they can actually access, what urban learners get. So for us, having ProFuturo in those remote areas, you are reducing the gap between the rural-urban divide. We also saw a lot of community participation, which is one of the pillars that World Vision actually concentrate on. We believe that when we get into a community, they have resources, locally available resources. They know they have their own solutions. You don't bring solutions to the communities, but you come together, you do community sensitization, then you work together for them to bring solutions to their own communities. So just like what Marian said, the schools didn't have power. So Econet, you remember I talked about Econet, which is supporting Higher Life Foundation, a foundation. They even did another job for us. They then took all the schools where ProFuturo was supposed to go and then did a network assessment. And so which kind of network one was in those schools. So for those schools that didn't have internet or either networks, we then facilitated, because already partnerships were created. So communities then, knowing all that, we also said, if ProFuturo in collaboration with World Vision Zimbabwe and Spain, they are bringing this equipment to you. What is it that communities are also supposed to do? Can you also create safe rooms for the suitcase? So they put burglar bars in the computer rooms, lockable places for the gadgets. They even put solar power in their schools. So as we speak, all the 220 schools, they now have electricity. It's not only an advantage to the school, but also to the teachers, because they can also have lights in their homes, which they never used to have. So you can just put a light. They never used candles and other things. But because ProFuturo has brought this kind of technology that also relies a lot on community participation, it has also brought another advantage to the teachers as well as to the schools. And communities that speak, they are very enthusiastic. They are very supportive of the project. It's a project of choice that we, as Minister of Primary, as well as World Vision, we are proud to continue working with ProFuturo and even upscale it to, yes, we have covered the whole country, maybe through the cluster system, but maybe even to support more with even other facets of ProFuturo that they have, like using ICT as a tool for pedagogy. Those are some of the things. And also maybe continue to pursue these other partnerships that we have already started together with ProFuturo in ministry. The UNESCO one, the Higher Lives ones. We also, the POTRAS one, which is a governing board for all networks. They are also trying to put internet in all our schools, maybe 1,500 at a go, but we also want to pursue those other avenues because already we have got a story that is a success story that we want to talk about. Maybe in finishing, I would say, yes, as Marian has said, we have issues, of course, there are challenges that are always there, but we have also put some, what can I call it? I will also put some measures in terms of how do we get around the challenges. Challenges to do with theft of the gadgets. You remember we talked about creation of storerooms. We have also put a sustainability strategy that we've developed together with ProFuturo, World Vision Spain, and Ministry that we now want to continuously refine and say, how do we, after ProFuturo is left, we want this good story to continue in the schools. We want the gadgets to continuously be replaced. We want also them to increase, to have even one gadget per each child in those schools, because ProFuturo has started a good thing. So I'll say, thank you so much. Over.
Thank you, Maria, for this great intervention. I think we have learned lots of things from you. Now I want to, I don't know, because I think Jacob he keeps having some connectivity issues. I don't know if he could come back. I don't know, maybe Maria, if you can call him, if he can come back with us to share with us his perspective from the Ministry of Education.
Yes, let me just try to, maybe he can also use his phone. Let me try.
Thank you, Maria. Please, let's wait for him like 2 minutes, just because I think it's very interesting if he can give us his perspective. We have here like the 3 elements, so.
Leticia, we're here in Kigali. We have someone who would like to intervene, if that's okay?
Oh, yes, of course.
Thank you, Mrs. the Moderator. I'd like to ask my question in French. Is it possible?
Yes, I think it's fine. Isn't...
Ok, merci Madame la modératrice.
Thank
Je
you.
suis Issoufy Diko,
I am Issoufy Diko. I'm assistant director in Mali, where we deal with the in-service and continuous training of teachers in the primary and first part of secondary. I followed with much interest what has been said by the various speakers, Marianne and Maria. And I would like to know if there is a selection criterion for schools. You referred to remote rural schools. Are there other criteria for selecting a given school that will benefit from your project? And I have a second question for Maria. She works for Own Vision. How could the device be shared with us so that we use it so that we could use it in a different context? I'm thinking in particular of Mali, where this organization is present, and I'm thinking that what is being done in Rwanda could be done in Mali, could be replicated in Mali. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the question. Thank you. I don't know if you hear me clear. I don't know if Maria, you can answer the two questions. About
all right.
About the selections of the schools. That's the first one, and then about share the project with Mali. As World Vision, it's working in Mali also,
all right.
as Rwanda, in Zimbabwe.
All right, I didn't get the second question well, but I got the choice, I mean, the selection of the schools, but the other one, I didn't get it.
I think the other one, yeah, can you hear me, Maria?
Yes, I can hear you, Felicia.
Yeah, the other one, it's about that, well, he works in Mali, and he wants to know if the projects can be implemented in Mali, as I think World Vision it's working in Mali also. So he was asking, maybe we can give him an answer also from ProFuturo side. So be comfortable to, if you want me to ask that question.
All right, I got it, Felicia. Maybe I'll start with the first question in terms of how we selected the schools. At first, when we were given the first 20 schools, the selection criteria was actually agreed together with Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education. First of all, we looked at the vulnerability of the school. Vulnerability in terms of resources. How resourced is the school? Some of the schools are better resourced than the others. That's given. Some have got computers, some have got, teaching and learning materials, even teachers, they've qualified teachers. But in this case, we also looked at that. And then we also looked at our, which is a pass rate, for public examinations, were they high or low? So we have got some other primary schools that have got a 0 pass rate. Obviously, those were like our target. How then do we increase their pass rate? By provision of teaching and learning materials, by giving them this tool, which is ProFuturo, which has got resources that are open, and also resources that can be uploaded so that kids can actually access. So we looked at all those things, and then and also willingness of communities. By then, you remember, we said there was also community contribution in terms of how willing, how do we know as we mobilized them, were they also quick in terms of, provision of the strong rooms, or as well as the power that was needed to charge the gadgets. So with that alone,
I think we're having some connectivity problems with Maria, maybe.
we got the 20 schools and 2 schools. There were I lost everybody. I don't know what happened. Actually, there was a direct call. So I can say normally though that was the selection criteria. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you
Yes,
now, I think.
Yeah, so that was basically the selection criteria. But when we then increased, it was like we said, let us cover all the primary schools in one district, and then went to the other district and covered also 100%. So in terms of measurement, you are saying all the schools are actually almost at the same level. We are giving them a tool that they are going to use all of them. That was also allowed even those districts to have what they call district examinations. So which means if they set district examinations, all the learners can actually write those examinations from the tablets, and then they can be marked easily, and then they get the results there and there. Then in terms of whether the project is applicable in Mali, it's actually applicable in any other country. If ever it has worked in Zimbabwe, especially in those very remote schools, where sometimes it's either 200 or 108 or 150 away from the main road, where sometimes I remember some of the schools in Lupane, they are not accessible even during the rain season. You spend like 3 months without going there. But ProFuturo has really worked. It has worked because eventually once they are able to connect, like let's say once a month, they connect their gadgets, we can be able even to communicate, we know what's happening. The system can also be repaired. They're able even to get information from ProFuturo, even from the ministry as well. Thank you. Over.
thank you, Maria. I think Jacob is back. I don't know. Sorry, it's Jacob, not Jacob. Sorry for my pronunciation. Jacob, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. How are you?
Great. Hello, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yes. I just want to answer a question, if you can share with us your experience from the MOPSE and how to implement a program like this, and what are the challenges, the achievements, and anything that you can share with us. We want to learn through your experience.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, colleagues. Here in Zimbabwe, we are very, very grateful for ProFuturo. When the pandemic started for us, our biggest challenge was to reach out to our learners in order to push down digital content to them. So our biggest challenge was the network. Here we've got connectivity challenges. 80% of our schools are in the rural. So it's very, very difficult for us to push digital material using the current available internet services because of the high demands for the prices. So when we spoke to ProFuturo, they allowed for us to use their offline solution, which allows us to create localized networks. So what we did is we selected our cluster centers. Cluster centers for us in Zimbabwe, these are special schools which typically support 8-10 schools around them. So what we did with these schools, we requested for them to provide laptops, dedicated laptops, specifically Core i5 computers, which can then be used to install this offline solution so that we can populate the digital learning materials. So we did that. We engaged our cluster centers through our district schools inspectors. So in some schools, we did get the Core i5s, but in some schools we failed to get the Core i5s. But we were also encouraging them, those who can purchase, to purchase the computers. So that was the intervention that we have done with the platform. So all our teachers in the cluster centers, we thoroughly trained them over a 5-day period on how the platform works, on how the learners can connect to the platform, on how the teachers can add digital content, which is curriculum aligned to the platform. So we have done that, and the model that we are now using for the learners to connect to the platform, we are using the bring your own device approach, where the learners bring their own either smartphones or tablets, where the cluster center has got an existing computer lab. We are using that computer lab with the existing computers for the learners to be accessing the materials. The challenges that we are having is the access to the gadgets, to the devices. You know, when you say bring your own device, normally, you know, our schools are quite disadvantaged in terms of technology that they have. So you find learners bringing different form of devices. So the issue of standardization is critical to us, to say if we could have a standard device which is being used by the learners, it's easier for them to be guaranteed access to the platform, so that even if there's any takeaway material that they can download from the offline systems and take back and continue to use at home, at least it will benefit them. Over. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob, for also your very relevant intervention and to share with us the challenges and also the achievements of implementing this type of projects. Right now, I want to have a few minutes for a Q&A. I don't know if there is any questions in the chat or there in Kigali. If you want, raise your hand if you have any question. And then also a reminder of speaking slowly for the interpretation.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you so much for the interventions that has been going on this in this session. I'm Ruth, and I work for VSO in Rwanda. My question to you about the ProFuturo. I don't know whether I'm mentioning it properly, but please bear with me. I wanted to ask the safeguarding issues around use of gadgets by children in terms of the abuse that goes with the digital platforms, especially for children. How is that protected so that children are not, they are protected in accessing learning content, but also not being exposed to platforms that are not very useful for them? Thank you.
I don't know, maybe Jacob, can you answer the question?
It's okay. Thank you very much. I will respond to the concern.
Thank you.
The first most important thing for us as a ministry in order to safeguard our learners is, one, we have got an ICT in education policy, which we use, which guides the implementation and usage of ICTs within our education system. To the extent that from that national ICT policy in education, schools have also drafted their localized policy, their own school internet policy, which speaks to the safe usage of technology in education. And then secondly, our other intervention is that of training. We believe in continuous capacity development of not only our teachers as educationists, but also our learners, for them to understand the relevance and importance of technology now in education. And also the issue of cyber wellness, to say as they're using technology, we also want to avoid issues to do with cyberbullying. So these are part of their everyday teaching, where we also remind our learners of the dangers of the internet. And then thirdly, we have got inbuilt systems within the platforms where we can use the routers for what we call white surfing, where we can direct our learners to specific websites which have got the relevant material required for the activities that they'll be doing during that particular lesson. Here we are using an approach which we call blended learning. So what happens with the teacher when they want to do a lesson with the learners and they want to use the technology? They prepare their work beforehand, whatever resources that they need to use, because this is an offline platform, and most of the resources that the teacher needs and which the learners need to access are already preloaded by the teacher in the resource repository. But if there is need for the learners to do further research, normally the teacher can also put links which will direct learners to those specific links as well. But however, where the learners have access to internet, we always try and embed our security checks within the routers and within the firewalls of the machines that they are using. Thank you.
Maybe I can also speak into that as well.
Yes,
Just
of course,
to add
Maria.
just to add to what Jacobe said. Also the platform, which is the ProFuturo platform, you know, when a teacher actually creates a class. So when they create a class, obviously they have, I think Jacob has also spoken into that. They have that chance to actually pick resources even from the main pool and then put them in the class where that class can actually access the materials. So obviously a teacher will normally pull out resources that are relevant to the learners and also age appropriate. So that also make sure kids actually safeguarded against I know the ills of e-technology. Over.
There's also a raised hand from Mesa to ask a question.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Laetitia. Thank you for picking up. I'm conversant with the ProFuturo because we've been discussing with Laetitia and her colleagues earlier from Mauritius. In fact, we looked at the curriculum, the curriculum which comes with ProFuturo, and then we were thinking about in Mauritius implementing. But then when we looked at the curriculum, we said it goes along with our national curriculum. I'm still thinking about, and the project is still being looked into, whether we can be using this as a complement during the COVID these days when there is this pandemic going on. So we'll still be taking into consideration the curriculum, but because in Mauritius we do study English and French in the lowest primary schools, and equally in the upper primary schools, they are very good in terms of content-wise, if I could say that. My question is, can we go for two curriculums along with the ProFuturo? I mean, the school curriculum, the national curriculum, and the ProFuturo curriculum. Thank you.
Thank you, Parmesa, and hello again. Maybe I think Maria can share with you how we complement with the ProFuturo resources and the national curricula. Maybe Maria, well, and then Jacob, maybe they both have their own perspectives about that, and how ProFuturo can complement what are the national curriculum. I don't know who wants. Maria, you want to?
Yes, I can start. All right, let me just let Jacob, since normally disappears with the internet. Jacob Kiki can go ahead.
Thank you very much. This ProFuturo solution has got a facility which is called We Do. We Do is a facility within ProFuturo which promotes teachers to become digital content creators. It provides various templates, just like we normally use in PowerPoint, where you can put a title, you can put text, you can put videos, you can put pictures, you can put animations, and you can infuse it with various assessment questions. So it allows, so at the end of the day, the platform allows for us as teachers to create our own curriculum aligned content. The resources available currently in the repository, it is also flexible. It's up to the teacher to pick the specific activities which are related to their own scenario, which they can use, and they can even add some more. So there's a lot of flexibility which comes with ProFuturo, which we as a country, we have so much liked, especially here in Zimbabwe. It is our policy to say for the infant levels, they should be taught in their mother tongue. So we found that very, very helpful for our younger grades, because for the different 16 national languages that are spoken here in Zimbabwe, the teachers are able to put material relevant to the different learners that they have. Over. Thank you.
Yeah, I think, Jacob has said it all. Maybe just to give an example so that it actually comes home. Let's say you are teaching about rain, or either you are teaching about sunshine, or let me just give rain, maybe formation of rain. You can then go to the dispository, which is already within our ProFuturo platform, and then you pick information from there. The pictures, everything that you need, even voices. You can actually then pick that, and then you use that as you teach your formation of brain with the kids. And it's actually become visible because they're actually seeing how vapor is actually precipitating, or water from the ground, and how clouds are formed, and then that rain, that kind of thing. So it becomes very visual because it also provides those visuals as ProFuturo. So it's, yeah. So for me, they actually work hand in hand. They complement each other. It's just the teacher needs to be innovative, and then, work with, created materials from the curriculum, and then picking from the resource what also applies to the lesson over.
Just a quick one before Maria, you conclude as well. Within ProFuturo, it promotes communication and collaboration amongst teachers. They can create different lessons, and one lesson which is created in one of the ProFuturo platforms, it can actually be shared with another school, probably doing the same topics, the same lessons. They can actually share lessons amongst them. So it promotes also a lot of collaboration amongst the teachers. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe.
Maria.
Hi. Just to add one thing here, one of the first activities that we do when we go in the countries is to look at the curriculum they have and to match that curriculum with our curriculum, and to see, what is missing in that curriculum, right? And whatever is missing, we try to identify a partner who can provide some content, right? So and as Jacob and Maria were saying, our platform is very flexible. It allows teachers to upload any kind of content coming from the web, coming from other partners. So that's a way to enrich the platform. So the possibilities are many. Yeah, back to you.
Thank you, Marian. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Mary, for all this information.
Thank you. I don't know if there is, because, well, we don't have like much time, but I don't know if there's more questions.
Thank
like
you.
the last
I have a question here.
Okay.
Hello, it's Ruth. I'm here in Kigali, and my question is about the inclusivity of the tool, or especially of the materials that are being accessed by learners. How inclusive are they for different children with disabilities, especially the deaf, the blind, the different categories of children, or people, of children with disabilities. How inclusive are those materials, or how inclusive is the gadget so that those children can access the materials? Also, how are parents enabled to access and understand what their children are learning and be able to support, if it is for the younger children? Because I think maybe it was Jacob who mentioned that you're passionate in making it user-friendly by using local languages. Thank you.
Maybe, well, Maria and Jacob, can you share with us your experience from, well, the first question about children with disabilities? If you had any experience with ProFuturo and this type of children? Maybe Maria?
Yes.
Or Jacob?
Yes. Yes. Thank you very, very much for that important questions. Yes, within our education systems, we have got learners that have got different challenges. Some are visually impaired, some have got a hearing impairment. So the good thing about the platform is it allows for audio, which will help to cater for those that might be visually impaired. And the system also allows for us to put material which has got caption, where if someone maybe cannot hear but they can read, they are also able to follow. So the fact that this system allows for multimedia, it helps to cater for learners of different learning abilities. And then when it comes to the aspects of the parents, the good thing about the platform, it uses a special file. Whatever material that is developed within ProFuturo, even from the one that is currently existing in the resources, it is developed in a format which is called SCORM. SCORM simply means shareable content object reference model, meaning this kind of resources on ProFuturo, they can be moved to other learning platforms with ease. In other words, the resources on ProFuturo can be moved even to other platforms like Moodle, because they also use the same format. Why this specific format? It allows for us to use the system to keep track of what the learner is doing. So if a teacher gives, for example, 5 activities in a specific topic, like rainfall, which Maria was talking about, maybe it's got introduction, maybe it's got some videos on the different types of rainfall, and then maybe at the end, it's got assessment. The platform can tell us that the learner has logged in at this time, and they only did the introduction, or they skipped through everything else and they only went to do the assessment. And we can even use the platform to say, you cannot do the assessment before you have done the introduction. You cannot do the types of rain before you can do before you have done the introduction. So there are activities which we can say these are mandatory and to be followed in specific order. So the platform is very flexible. It allows for the teacher to be able to do activities they seemingly normally do in a usual four-roomed classroom. So the fact that the platform keeps track of what the learner is actually doing onto the platform, those reports are generated and they can be shared with the parents, so that even if their child is having challenges in specific topics, we are able to direct the efforts of the parents so that they continue also to be working with the learner when they've gone back to their homes. Over. Thank you.
Maybe Maria, do you want to add something?
I think Jacob is an expert, actually. He said everything that will be flogging a dead horse over. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we don't have so much time. So because, I think just to wrap up on conclusions, I think we have learned lots of things today. And I want to thank you for our colleagues and our speakers. I think we have learned about challenges, achievements, the key of the community. I like the way that the 3 perspectives and the 3 organizations working together and making this bigger, and to learn about the community and how to adapt it to the local community, because there's lots of challenges, but we have lots of opportunities also. So I think it's very important to these public private partnerships, and to work together and to scale up and to reach all these learners and the teachers and help them And well, just thank you, everyone. Thank you there in Kigali to have to give us this opportunity. And well, we just end. We do have in the chat all the information about ProFuturo. Maybe we can share also our contacts if you can go further and if you have some more questions. And I give it back to you. Thank you very much to all of you.